Hello everyone, and welcome to my 3.4 driver presentation. This is Micah Euchre, and I will be bringing you through this week's new challenge implementing a classmates mechanic. The mechanic I decided to implement is the action counter by Natalie Tinberg. Here is a demonstration on how it works. Every movement, along with every interaction, takes away from the total action left count. My main mechanic is spike traps, and I thought this would go well with it. Although I needed to finish putting a way to switch which spike trap rotation you're on, which will be more apparent in this next level. One side is always dangerous, and the other is just not, unless you can find a way to switch. Again, press E to interact. And then here, to bail out the player, instead of pushing again, you have to go around, otherwise they'll run out of actions. And then that's it. It just reloads back. Alright, now to show you how it all works. To start off, we need to go into our player's event graph. And what we're doing is on all the inputs, forward, backward, left, right, and interact. We are checking to see if the player is moving. If the player is moved or is moving, call the player moved, and then call the function reduce action count. And this is hooked up separately with interact and the movements to avoid any walking into the walls or something like that that could lower the player count. But here in this function, what we're doing is we're getting the action count, and then we're decrementing it by 1. And then what we're doing is getting the action count, and we're checking to see if it's equal to or less than 0. Originally it was equal, but I found in bug that it let you get into the negatives at some point. So a less than and equal to just solve that. And so now if it is true, when the player count does hit 0, check if the player wins. And if the player did not win, kill the player. And in this function where we get the player, what we're doing is we're getting reference to the win tile, we're getting reference to the players, and then we're getting their locations, and then we're comparing them to each other and seeing if they're equal with a tolerance of 100. And then we'll return a branch of did they win. And if they did win, check, false, kill the player. Win would mean that they won. Secondly, that from here where I went is to the level start. Or I mean, the level blueprint. And this is on every level I can set how many actions the player will get. And for my levels, I decided to give them the exact amount they needed, no more, no less, just that way they understood on the first level that the action counts were important. And then after that, we had actions left and the actual number for the player HUD so that the player can see how many actions they have left. This was just done by 2 text box and then connecting a variable to the actual text. I use 999 to the max it would ever be. And then player level, a blueprint, and then back to the player. And then that's pretty much about it. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.